This is the Pro Football Chase podcast, a podcast that has featured interviews with Rams wide receiver Robert Woods.
To reach 1,000 yards, and last year, unfortunately, I got hurt midway in the season. But other than that, just working and grinding to get to this point, and finally broke it with a lot of games left.
Packers wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Just the fact that we got all-pro on the other side of the ball, in Devontae. So when you got a guy like that, that's just going to get the main focus. Obviously, people start to know my name a little bit after I made a few plays here and there.
Broncos offensive guard Ronald Leary.
It would either have to be a counter or a pin and pull play when we get on the edge and run. I think it's always impressive when big guys can get out that stance and move and hit somebody.
And rising stars Dalton Risner, Charles Amenahu, and Jawan Williams. This is a podcast that offers player perspectives from some well-decorated veterans, including T.J. Hushmanzada.
And people will say, "Oh, well, is Dak Prescott a franchise quarterback?" Look at his record. It tells you he is. Oh, he has a great defense. He has Ezekiel Elliott. You tell me a quarterback in the entire NFL that's not Tom Brady that does more with less.
Game previews, recaps, and analysis. Turn the volume up. The chase is on, and the chase is live. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Pro Football Chase podcast. It's Isaac Signs with you. Joining me for an interview today is Florida International quarterback James Morgan. James, I know you're just wrapping up a weekend of football. You played in the EastWest Shrine game, finished up a good career there in Florida. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, Isaac. Thanks for having me on.
All right, James. So you were a part of the most successful senior classes in Panther football history. I saw prior to your tenure, no group of seniors at FIU had won more games or gone to 3 consecutive bowl games. How rewarding is that for you?
Well, you definitely did your research. That's correct, and it's extremely rewarding for me just to talk about the guys who I was with at that program, and personally had came from a program in Bowling Green that had not done so well before I transferred, and then FIU, I know the same situation, hadn't done so well until Coach Davis got there. And just to see the seniors and that group of guys be able to work with them and accomplish what we did, it really means a lot. And those are memories that last me a lifetime. And I'm so grateful that we're able to make our impact on an organization like that.
Now, talking about the season, you had a 1-3 start this past year, but the Panthers turned it around. You qualified for bowl eligibility with a 6-6 overall record. How did the early adversity help your development as a player and leader?
Sure. It's a great question. I think one of the things that I'm most proud of from our group last year was the fact that they just never gave up. You talk about, just like you said, we had a 1-3 start, and I believe after that we ended up winning 3 games in a row. And then it got to a stretch where we knew for sure that we weren't going to the Conference USA Championship game, which was our which was our goal. And then we showed some fight, down the road, ended up having a big victory in Miami and then finishing strong the other 2. So I think that, the thing that I'm absolutely most proud of this team is that they just never gave up. And there was a lot of adversity. There was a lot of things that didn't go our way. But as a group, we never gave up. And that was definitely something that I think that the leaders, myself included, really tried to, stress the team that we're out here, we're working, we're giving it everything we got. And I think it says a lot about a team when the things don't go the way that you want them to. How are they going to respond now? When the goal that you wanted to get isn't reached, what you do next says a lot about you. And that's why I'm just so proud of the guys that they never gave up.
James, one of those big wins made national headlines with a 30-24 win over the Miami Hurricanes. I remember it was all over SportsCenter, ESPN, you name it. You threw for 2 touchdowns in that game. Talk about the significance of that victory, not only for your team, but for your program at FIU.
Yeah, well, it was absolutely incredible. And I just, we went up against a great Hurricanes team and had a lot of really great athletes. And I just can't say enough about how much the guys really bought in and fought that game. It had a lot of energy on the sideline and everything that went into it. I think one of the coolest things about that game is that that was kind of the embodiment of the confidence that we had in ourselves the entire season that finally kind of came to fruition in that game. Because, like I said before, it wasn't the best season up to that point, and then we kind of said, we can give up or we can fight, and we ended up fighting and ended up coming with that win. But it means a lot to all of our players. I know it meant a lot to the university. Coach Davis having come from there, I know it meant a lot to him. So just a great experience that I'm extremely thankful to be a part of. And it was a great night for us and a great team win.
You finished your senior campaign with 2,585 pass yards, 14 touchdowns. By the way, giving you 40 in your career, which is the second most in school history, and then 5 interceptions. What would you say are some of your strengths as a passer?
Sure. Well, I think on the field, one of the biggest things that I bring is arm strength. I think I have an NFL caliber arm. I'm not scared to make any throw. I think I can make every single throw on the field. And so I think I certainly bring that to the table. The other things I hope that, as you're watching my film, like if you're a scout, you'll notice is my arm, or I already mentioned my arm strength, my accuracy and my anticipation, just kind of anticipating where windows will be and putting the ball in a spot that's maybe away from a defender or, throwing it before he's open, but then it hits him in a spot where the guy can't get to it, or maybe it's over a defender and stuff like that. So hopefully the NFL skill set of arm strength, accuracy, and anticipation really shows up through my film. But then I think one of the biggest things that I'd like to stress, away from the actual field is just my preparation. I think that's the biggest thing that I pride myself on week to week is how can I go into the game with the most prepared game plan, able to attack the defense and pick them apart based on what I've seen on film. And that's something that I really pour my heart and soul into, and it's because I actually absolutely love football. And I would say that's probably my strongest quality overall.
So is there a current or former NFL quarterback that you like to watch exclusively and really just learn from?
That's a great question. I think last year, is maybe sound cliche, but I watched a lot of Tom Brady, just talking about his consistency, his footwork, obviously his efficiency at 40 years old or however old he is, and still being able to throw the ball the way that he does extremely well and extremely efficiency with motion, just watching his technique like that. And then some of those windows too, like I just talked about anticipation, seeing maybe if it's Edelman crossing the middle when Brady throws it to get him open. So I'd say that I really studied Brady this offseason, tried to watch him. But growing up, I was always a huge Brett Favre fan. And I think, growing up, I was from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So being able to watch him in my own backyard, Lambeau Field was about 2 minutes away from my high school, which was fantastic for me. And just got super inspired, man. And that's going to be my all-time favorite player. And just loved watching him play.
Yeah, for sure. Brett Favre, man, that guy was something special to watch, dynamic with the ball in his hands, and never count him out on a play. So that's really cool to hear that you grew up around Lambeau Field. But let's go ahead and turn the page now as you played in the EastWest Shrine game. I saw that you went 9 of 14 for 116 yards and a touchdown and 3 offensive drives for the East. Talk about your experience playing in that event.
It was a great experience. I think one of the biggest things that I wanted to do going in there, and that I thought that was a great takeaway from it, was just the competition aspect. Coming from FIU, it's a smaller school. The knock on those schools is that the competition is as great week to week. And I think to be able to go to a game like this and be able to show my stuff against some quality competition, because there were a bunch of great athletes there, man, a lot of skill there. And absolutely loved the week, loved competing, loved throwing it around with those guys. And then the game itself was great too. I'm very happy that we got a win. That was just a competitor, something that was a goal going in for myself and our entire team. So overall, a very rewarding experience to be sure.
Now, you capped off the week by winning the Pat Tillman Award for character, intelligence, and achievements on and off the field, which is really significant and a big-time award for a player, such as yourself, in high honors. So talk about winning that award and what it means to you, not only just as a player on the field, but what it means for all those looking up to you.
Sure. It was absolutely an honor. Just doing some research on Pat Tillman that morning when I found out that I'd won it, the incredible sacrifice that he made. We were all there at the Shrine Bowl to try to make it to the NFL. And you take Pat Tillman, who literally had that very thing that we're working towards. He had an NFL career, and he gave it up to go serve our country and protect our freedom. It was an absolute honor to be selected for an award that was based off him, and I cannot put into words how much that meant to me. And so very awesome. But I hope that with the coaches and the staff there felt like for me it was just my character and the way that I live my life. And that's been instilled in me since my parents. And I hope that, you know, like you mentioned, people who look at me and watch the way that I carry myself and then I play can see that same character striving through. I think that's a extremely important aspect of leadership. To be a very high character guy and somebody who your teammates can trust and who is there and who's dependable. So, I would hope that people look at me and see that. But I'm, like I said, extremely honored to have received that award. That really meant a lot to me.
Again, I know a lot of fans out there are fascinated about the production on the field, but I feel like these types of awards carry even more weight for being individuals in the community and shining light on positive matters. So keep up the great work in that regard, James.
Definitely, yes, sir.
Yeah, man, as you continue to prepare for the upcoming draft, I know you talked about your arm strength and your ability to scan the field, but what are some traits that you're really looking to focus on ahead of the NFL?
Sure. Well, one thing I think that I can always improve upon is mobility. Just talking about being very quick in the back of the pocket, avoiding those pass rushers in the NFL who are obviously extremely athletic, and staying on balance and being able to make throws from different positions. I think that's something that I always can work on, this entire season after every single practice. Me and two equipment managers would stay after and, work mobility. They would rush me and I'd avoid and try to be as game speed as possible. So, transitioning to the NFL, I think that's something that I'm always trying to work on, and that's something that I continue to get better at.
I want to ask you this question because I think this is always very valuable for players moving forward. But say that Butch Davis is on the line. What would you tell him, and how thankful are you for him and how he's helped you develop as a signal caller at the college level?
Oh, I can't even put into words enough how much Coach Davis has really helped me tremendously throughout, my career. You talk about him taking a chance on me, recruiting me from Bowling Green, and just being able to play under him, man, it was absolutely phenomenal. You want to talk about a player's coach, somebody who always has the best interest of his guys, who listens to the leaders on his team, who really cares about you, and you can tell, some coaches say they care about you, and, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Coach Davis really went above and beyond, and he's already hit me up several occasions since, obviously the season was done, and I just can't say enough about how much it meant for him, for me to play under him and be with him these years, man. He's one phenomenal guy, and you can already tell, obviously, with what he's done with FIU, and I only anticipate success in his future. I mean, everywhere he goes, he seems like he has an aura about him that's just, successful, and I can see why, because he's a phenomenal coach and he's a phenomenal inspirer of men.
So you're going to be having your pro day coming up in the spring, and you're going to be able
That's
to
correct, yes.
talk with some NFL scouts, some evaluators. What is going to be your main message to them, James, as they look to learn more about you as a person?
Well, one of the main things that I want to communicate to them is that I'm somebody who is absolutely in love with the game of football and who will do anything and everything in my power to help them win games. I think the reason that I devote so much time to, the preparation that I mentioned before is because I love doing it. I don't think there's any better feeling on Saturday and now Sunday to be able to go out there and have seen something that you saw in film and have that kind of second nature reaction where you worked it so many times that now you're not thinking about it, but it kind of automatically clicks and you go out and score a touchdown. I mean, there's nothing like it, but you're going to get a guy who's extremely hardworking, who's the hardest worker that you've ever seen, who's going to do everything and anything in his power to make something happen. And then a leader too. I want them to, know how I am as a leader. And I think you can ask my teammates, and I had some really great ones, but they can attest to my leadership skills and, being able to lead by example and vocally. And I think that it can make a big difference on an organization. And again, the biggest goal, help them win games.
James, I appreciate you taking the time to join me, man. Just listening to you, looks like you've got everything sorted out. You've got a professional characteristic to you, the way you operate, and I wish you nothing but the best as you continue your preparations for the NFL draft.
I appreciate that, Isaac, and thanks again for having me on, man.
Yes, sir. Blessings, and take care.
Thank you, you too.